Hello, my friends. Good to see you again. This is 7 English Bible School. Thanks for joining us. And once again, your presence means a lot to me. God bless you and keep you.
The hospital is confident it can cope with coronavirus this winter and could expand its intensive care fivefold if needed. But the more COVID there is, the greater the impact on other non-emergency care, the hip replacements, eye operations, a myriad of other conditions. And like everywhere else, patients are waiting longer.
We've got a really significant backlog. Cataracts and eye operations are a good example. Small, relatively simple procedures. But if you're an elderly, frail person, isolating, fearful in COVID times, then, you know, we're pushing those patients into deeper anxiety.
Hospitals are facing more pressure throughout the UK, and NHS staff are having to juggle competing demands. As for hospital admissions, they are nowhere near the peak that they were in April, but they have been rising, with 1,015 admitted to hospital on average every day in the week up to last Monday.
15,000 staff work at the Trust. They're always busier as winter approaches, but this will be the first with coronavirus.
We've got a very tired workforce.
We know the beast that is COVID pneumonia.
It's devastating if you get a setback.
For a couple of months in summer, there were no COVID patients in intensive care. Now staff are back in full PPE.
COVID continues to make people critically ill. It continues to make people's organs fail. It continues to cause death. That still is a frightening prospect for many people out there.
But patient numbers are half that compared to the first wave, and very few are on ventilators. To me, this feels very different from the peak in April. Doctors now know so much more about COVID and how best to treat the disease, and that means many more patients are surviving intensive care.
We feel we can offer every patient the best possible opportunity to get through it, based on some much firmer science that we can draw on now compared with April.
COVID patients in intensive care are given remdesivir, an antiviral drug, plus medications to stop potentially fatal blood clots. They also get dexamethasone, a steroid. Trials in the UK showed it reduces the risk of dying by up to a third. The hospital is confident it can cope with coronavirus this winter and could expand its intensive care fivefold if needed. But the more COVID there is, the greater the impact on other non-emergency care, the hip replacements, eye operations, a myriad of other conditions. And like everywhere else, patients are waiting longer.
We've got a really significant backlog. Cataracts and eye operations are a good example. Small, relatively simple procedures. But if you're an elderly, frail person, isolating, fearful in COVID times, then, you know, we're pushing those patients into deeper anxiety.
So we've got 7 free COVID ITU beds.
Around 1 million women in the UK missed out on breast screening in the first wave of coronavirus. The Trust is determined to keep it going this time.
Well done.
The hospital is very much open for business, and staff want to continue all services this winter. But so much depends on whether coronavirus can be kept under control.
The average number of new cases reported per day in the past week is now 21,926. 102 deaths were reported. That's people who died within 28 days of a positive COVID-19 test. And that means, on average in the past week, 182 deaths were announced every day. And it takes the total number of deaths so far across the UK to 44,998.
And hospitals have plans in place to deal with any surge in COVID cases. And then there are the Nightingale hospitals. But there's only one set of staff. And once the staff are dealing with COVID cases, they can't be dealing with non-COVID patients. So the pressure point this winter, if COVID admissions continue to rise, could be elective, non-urgent surgery. So the vaccine can't come soon enough. Now, the Oxford AstraZeneca team, they've said that their vaccine induces a good, strong immune response in all adult age groups, including the over 70s, the most at-risk group. And they say that's a key milestone, but that evidence hasn't been published yet.